it's Crystal Everdeen, and happy Halloween time! I'm going to Oogie Boogie Bash this year for the very first time in Disneyland, California, and it's like this after-hours event in which like really cool characters and villains come out. There's music, there's parades, there's trick-or-treating, and maybe other stuff that I don't know about, but I'm excited to go because again, it's my first time, so I don't really know what to expect. I haven't looked up too many videos on it, but I just know that I'm super duper excited, and I'm being hosted by Disney, so I was actually invited by Disney to go, and I want to look good. And because it is Oogie Boogie Bash and my very first time, I wanted to dress up as Oogie Boogie. So last year I actually put together an outfit inspired by Oogie Boogie, and I crocheted this hood like last minute, totally just made it up, and I thought it was really cool. When I posted it, a lot of people really liked it and thought it was interesting and fun, but the issue with this hood is that you can't really see Oogie's face unless I'm completely covering my own face. So I wanted to kind of revamp this and make it into more of a hat as opposed to a hood, so I could wear it and show my face while also showing off the Oogie Boogie face as well. So just like last time when I made this, I actually do not know what I'm doing, and I'm making it up as I go along. So I don't know how cohesive this video is going to be, but I hope that I could film it and edit it well enough so that you can recreate it if you want to. So yeah, this is gonna be me making my Oogie Boogie hat for Oogie Boogie Bash. Woo! Okay then, first things first, I'm actually going to unravel this hood and use the yarn. So take one last look at this beautiful Oogie Boogie hood that I so quickly put together. I needed to leave this open because if I made it solid, then it would just be like a sack over my head. But if I left this open, it could kind of just sit around my neck. So that's why this is open. But yeah, I don't know why I needed to describe that to you. Just I guess if in case you wanted to recreate the hood, this is what it looks like. Yeah, but pretty much I'm going to first take off the face. Okay, so the face has been removed, and this is just what the hood looks like, and now I'm just going to turn it inside out and then unravel the rest of it. So the project is officially all unraveled except for the face, because I'm going to reuse the face probably for the hat. So first thing I'm going to do is try and make the brim of the hat. So again, I'm going to repurpose this yarn for the new hat, but if I do not have enough yarn for the whole hat, I also have this new skein, which is a close match. I don't remember where I got this yarn from, so I tried my best to match it, and you know, it's a little bit different, but close enough. It is 100% acrylic size 4 yarn. I got this at Hobby Lobby, but if you want to buy a similar yarn from Amazon, I will have my Amazon affiliate links linked in the description box down below. So in addition to green, I'm also using black yarn, which is also 100% acrylic and size 4, and I will also leave a link to some black yarn in the description box below. And the hook that I'm using is a size 5mm hook, and similar to the yarn, I will leave a link to it in the description box down below if you want to purchase it on Amazon. So first thing I'm going to do is to let you in on a little secret here. So when the tutorial begins, it's going to make it seem as though I totally knew what I was doing the entire time and I did it all in one go. However, that could not be further from the truth. So I was 2 days away from Oogie Boogie Bash, with me really only having 1 day actually, because I was leaving tomorrow, like the next day after I filmed this video. So I really just had this day and like a couple hours of the next day. So I was panicking a little bit, especially because I didn't really have a solid idea or plan at all of how I wanted to make Oogie Boogie, or even like what I wanted him to look like. So I was just, you know, making things up as I go along per usual. However, the first time was not it. So I spent hours upon hours trying to make this hat, and I tried it on and I hated it. It was kind of like a beanie and I just didn't like it. So after, you know, hours of hard work, I unraveled the whole thing and started all over again. And then I put more hours into the project again just to also not like the way that it came out. However, after the second time, I did have a more solid idea of what I wanted the hat to look like. So third time was a charm. Too bad I literally wasted the entire first day. Well, I guess I wouldn't say wasted, since, you know, you learn from your mistakes, and that's exactly what happened. So after the first day was completely gone, I spent the only couple of spare hours I had left before I left for my trip to kind of show you that, hey, you may not get on your first try, you may not even get on your second, maybe not even third, fourth, fifth, but keep on trying. And again, you do learn from your mistakes. And I also wanted to show off some of this footage because I work hard to film the process. It's one thing crocheting these projects, and then there's another thing trying to show people and explain it to people exactly what you're doing while you're crocheting at the same time, and like trying to stay in frame and stuff. So I just wanted to like put this in here because, you know, I didn't want this footage to go to waste. And yeah, but you know, actually, yeah, it's more like because of the lesson of never give up and you learn from your mistakes. Yeah, let's just go with that. But anywho, let's get on with the tutorial. First thing we're going to do is grab our green yarn and create a slip knot. Then from that slip knot, we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then from here, we're going to go back into the very first chain that we created, and we're going to make a single crochet, and then from here we're going to go into this opening and we're going to make 5 more single crochets within that same opening. And if I am going too fast for you, I do have a crocheting for beginners video that you can use if you are completely new to crochet, or you can follow my beginner friendly tutorial on how to make a bucket hat, because first we're going to make a bucket hat and then we're going to add all the Oogie Boogie details in the end. At least that's the plan anyway. So after you've created 5 single crochets, you're going to go into the first single crochet that you created, and then you're going to make 2 single crochets within that one stitch, and you're going to continue making 2 single crochets inside of every single stitch for this entire row. So a total of 10 single crochets, which is 2 single crochets per stitch, because in the previous row you made 5 single crochets, and now it is going to be 10 because you're making 2 per stitch. Okay, and once you have completed that row, then you're just going to continue making more and more rows of single crochet, but this time you're going to make 2 single crochets every other stitch instead of every stitch, and that's just going to keep the project growing wider and wider, which is exactly what you want. And again, you can follow my beginner friendly version on how to make a bucket hat for more details. But yeah, I'm just going to continue making this circle bigger and bigger, and then I'll show you the next step really fast. Okay, so now that I'm happy with the size of my circle, it fits the top of my head, I'm going to move on to the next step, which is to bring the project down this way. So instead of working around this way, it's going to move this way as we crochet. And to do that, we're going to make a new row of single crochet, but instead of going into the stitch like we normally would, like this, we're going to go into just the back portion of it, and we're going to do 1 row of single crochet, but just going into the back stitch of every stitch. And again, that's just going to be 1 row. So you started off here, you're going to go all the way around, and then once you get here again, then you could start making just regular rows of single crochet. And again, this is important because it will direct the project downward. Instead of like flat this way, it's going to go down like this. So yes, just 1 row of this, and then after that you could go into the stitch as you normally would. Okay, so now that I have made that 1 row of single crochet going into just that back portion of the stitch, I went ahead and made more rows of just regular single crochet after that, and this is what it looks like so far. So once you put the hat on and you're happy with the fit and you're ready to make the brim, this is what you do. You pretty much do the opposite of what we did up here, where we went into the back of the stitch. Now we're going to just go into the front of the stitch, and that is what's going to bring the project to come outward instead of down like we did over here. So again, similar to what we did in the last clip, we are going to just go into one side of the stitch. So again, we're just going to this front stitch as opposed to this back stitch. So just going to go right into this front stitch, make a single crochet, and then continue on the rest of the row, just going into that front stitch until you go all around to where you made that first stitch of this row. And then after that, you could just continue making rows and rows of regular single crochet going into both portions of the stitch. So I don't know if I lost the footage or if I simply forgot to film this portion of the video because I was in such a rush to finish this hat, but I pretty much jumped to being done with the hat, and I know I was going fast to begin with, so if you're kind of, you know, struggling to keep up, don't really know what's going on right now, because again, I am rushing to finish this project. I do have a beginner-friendly tutorial on how to make a bucket hat, which is essentially all I'm doing at this portion of the tutorial. So just follow that beginner-friendly tutorial, and you'll essentially be caught up with me. If I was going too fast for you, I know I'm jumping around and stuff, but yes, it'll be linked in the description box below. But yeah, let's move on with the rest of the video. Okay, so I followed that pattern and created my brim. So this is what my hat looks like so far. So I made the brim really, really wide as opposed to the beginner-friendly tutorial that I shared with you. And that's because I wanted it to look more like a witch hat, and I feel like it needed more width in order for it to look more, I guess, witchy, I guess, but you can make yours short if you want to. So now I'm going to make the top of the Oogie Boogie hat. And I decided to make this separately because I didn't want it to be circular and slouch over. I wanted it to be stiff. So I am going to crochet on top of the top right here. And I'm going to now grab my green yarn and attach it to the top right here, like so. I'm just going to put my hook through one of the loops that we made when we were going through only one side of the single crochet, and I'm going to attach it by just bringing it through the loop right here, and then I'm going to single crochet after that, and it should be nice and attached. And I'm just going to make a row of single crochet on top of the hat like this, and that's how I'm going to make the top portion of the Oogie Boogie hat. And I'm not really sure exactly how I'm going to do it, but once I figure that out, I will check back in with you and explain to you what I did. So this is my progress so far. I started off with a few rows of just regular single crochet from one side to the other, so I didn't go all around the hat because I want it to be a little bit more stiff. So I'm going to make two pieces of single crochet and then slip stitch them together, and that will help keep this portion of the hat up, as opposed to if it was circular, then it probably would fold down with gravity. But this is the shape that I ended up coming up with. I wanted it to be nice and twisty, kind of like a witch hat, and also kind of like Oogie Boogie as well. So again, for the first few rows, I just went back and forth with single crochet as you normally would. And then after that, I kind of experimented with decreasing and increasing. So every time it would come in like this, I would decrease. I would skip the first stitch out of every row so that it could come inward. And then on the opposite side of it, I would actually chain 3, and then so I would add stitches to this side so they could protrude outward. So on one side I would decrease so it could go in, and then on the other side I would increase so it can go out, so it can kind of give this swoosh effect. And then after a few rows of increasing or decreasing on one side, then I would switch it up and then decrease on the other side and then increase on the opposite side. So again, it kind of gives that swooshing effect. And then I just continued doing that until I reached the top here. I knew I wanted it to have a little point. So after I created the little point shape, I decided that that's how I want the hat to be shaped. So I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side and then just slip stitch them together, and we'll see how that looks. So this is what the hat looks like so far. So again, I attached the yarn to the side of the hat now, and I'm just going to match the same shape as the other side. So after you attach it to the top of the hat, you make that first row of single crochet inside of that one side of the the single crochet, the one that's sticking out, and then you just continue on with a few rows of just regular single crochet going into every single stitch, keeping your edges straight. And it's not until you want to start making it curvy when you decrease the number of chains or increase the number of chains. So yeah, that's how I made the shape. I just attached it to the top, and again I split it into two instead of just attaching to the top and then going around and round, because when we attach the two together with a slip stitch, it's going to be more stiff as opposed to if it was a circular project. So it's more likely that it's going to stay up, hopefully. But yeah, that was my thought process behind that. But again, I'm just making everything up as I go along, and I'm in a bit of a rush. That's why I'm jumping around, because I need to get this done by the event tomorrow. But yeah, I'll go ahead and show you the progress once I make this side the same as this side, and then I'll show you how I slip stitch them together. So I went ahead and did the other side and tried to replicate the first side as much as possible. Unfortunately, I ran out of the yarn I was originally using, so I went ahead and attached the yarn that I got. Again, I couldn't color match perfectly when I went to the yarn store, but close enough. Plus this is on the back, so hopefully nobody notices, or it just adds charm to it so it looks more, I don't know, like Oogie Boogie. But now I am going to actually go all around the project with a layer, or rather a row of single crochet, just to kind of even out these jagged edges a little bit and make everything more cohesive. Like I already made one over here, and you could tell that it's a little bit smoother than on this side. It's very, very jagged. So I'm going to single crochet my way all around, and then I'm going to slip stitch the two pieces together, and then I'm going to add the face and the other black details and be done. Oh my gosh. So this is what the hat looks like. It'll probably look better this way with the same colors, but yeah, it looks like a little witch hat, which is kind of what I wanted. So it's like half witch, half Oogie Boogie style. So yeah, so I went around and crocheted one row of single crochet all around, and then I grabbed my black yarn and I stitched the two pieces together. And it's okay if it looks messy, because again, it's Oogie Boogie and we want it to look messy. Although I did flip it around to make the slip stitches inside, so that when you flip it right side out, it looks more like this as opposed to like this. So again, it's just a slip stitch together. And because I wanted to make sure that it wouldn't droop down when I wear it, I grabbed some cotton, and I'm just going to fill this area with cotton so it's nice and stiff and stays upright the entire time. And I'm just going to continue slip stitching my way down until it's fully attached, and then I'll just make the pieces for the face and be completely done. And this is what it looks like from the front with the same color. This is the back again, so we could just ignore the fact that these are two different greens. And yeah, that's what it looks like so far. Alrighty, so here's the update. This is the hat by itself with no face. I added these black like crisscross stitches to make it look more, you know, stitched together, kind of like Oogie Boogie. I think Oogie Boogie actually is very like it's more like this, very uniform, but I just thought this was a lot more fun. So I added the detailing here, and now I'm going to add the face. Well, I need to make the face first. So I made the eyes, and this is what they look like. I pretty much crocheted black triangles to make the eye shape, and then I crocheted green around it, and then kind of like folded it together so that it could be like sticking out. And I sewed it, or rather like slip stitched it together so on the back, so that it could look puffed out and shaped the way I wanted it to. And it was just a bunch of trial and error, so yeah, I think that they came out really, really cool. So I'm doing the same thing for the mouth now. So again, I crocheted the shape I wanted with the black yarn, and now I'm crocheting a few rows of single crochet with the green yarn so that I could then fold it over and it could be more like a circular kind of piece. That's what I did here. So it's just like flat rows of single crochet all around, and then once it got tall enough, I folded it and then I slip stitched it to the back so it would like kind of pop out. And that's exactly what, again, I'm going to be doing for this one as well. So I'm going to make a few rows of just flat single crochet with the green yarn, and then once it's tall enough, I'm going to fold it and then slip stitch it to the back, and it's going to be like poofed out. So yeah, that's how I made the face, and I will show you what it all looks like put together. And I'm actually just going to use a regular needle and thread to actually sew it onto the hat, and then I will show you what it looks like once it's all done. Okay, so I went ahead and finished off the mouth of Oogie Boogie, and now I am sewing everything on. So again, I just use a regular needle and thread to sew the eyes and the mouth on, because I feel like that's easier than using the yarn. But if you only have the yarn, you could always just weave in the yarn and use that as a needle and thread alternative. But yeah, I'm pretty much going to place the eyes right here and the mouth right here. Oh, it looks so good! And then after I'm done sewing everything on, I'm probably going to add a layer of black yarn all around the brim of the hat, and maybe make it look like this a little bit so it's a little bit more cohesive and stands out. And I'm thinking of adding a little spider right here. You know how he has like a little spider hanging from his the top of his head, but I don't know how to make a spider out of, you know, crochet. Maybe I'll just like get a plastic spider, I don't know, but we'll see. But look how good that looks so far. But pretty much I have my needle and thread already right here attached to the mouth. I already attached it, but I just go towards the back right here, and I go through the part that I want to attach to the hat as well as the actual hat itself, and I just sew it on together, and I just do that all along the mouth. And I'm going to do the same exact thing with the eyes. So I'm going to place them where I want them to be, and then I'm just going to sew all along the back portion, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the other one, and then I will be done with the face. Okay, so the face is sewn on. This is what he looks like. Ooh, very menacing. I think he looks so cool. He kind of reminds me of the Sorting Hat from Harry Potter as well, but we're gonna make him more Oogie Boogie with the little spider on his head. But at least I know that I could also make the Sorting Hat from Harry Potter. Maybe that'll be the next project. We'll see. But again, I am going to add another row of black yarn on the brim just to kind of tie in the black and green, and then I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with the spider, and then I'll be done. Yay! I think it turned out so good. And again, I'm sorry for rushing, but I literally need to pack this in my suitcase tonight, so I'm so glad that I was able to finish it, or I'm going to finish it this morning. So I've attached the black yarn to the brim right here, and this is how I'm going to do the little stitch detailing. I'm going to yarn over, go down a few rows, and go into one of the stitches that are like down here, wherever I want the stitch detail to be. And then I'm going to bring the yarn through my hook, through that stitch, and then I'm going to lightly complete a double crochet. So yarn over through 2 loops and yarn over through the last 2 loops. And that's going to give you this kind of like stitch detailing, and you can make them different sizes as well. So instead of skipping 3 down, you could skip 2 down, or you could make a really big stitch and like skip all the way down here and make it. So yeah, I would suggest doing various sizes so it's not so uniform and it's a little like more homemade looking, more Oogie Boogie messy kind of. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do all along the brim. Okay, I just finished that row of single crochet all along the brim, and I added those stitch details. Sometimes I made them a little X as well, so I pretty much did the same thing where I went all the way down and then created a double crochet. But sometimes I would go a few more stitches this way and then create one that was diagonal to kind of make a crisscross design. But yeah, I was just playing around with it, and this is what was the result of it. So I am really happy with the way it came out. And now I'm just going to add the little spider detail. I don't really know how I'm going to make the spider, but I'm assuming I'm just going to make a little clump of black yarn into a little like circle or something, and then I'm going to add the legs either with black wire, because I have some black wire, or just black yarn, and then I'm just going to attach it right here on the top of the hat, and I will be completely done with the hat. But yeah, I'm just going to try and make a little clump of black yarn. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, thanks for tuning in to this video. I know it wasn't necessarily a tutorial like at all, just because I was jumping around like crazy, but I hope that you could use this as like inspiration or like somewhat of a guide or idea of how to make an Oogie Boogie hat for yourself. Again, I'm really happy with the way it came out. It was a lot of trial and error and unraveling and all that, but in the end, I'm so happy with the way that this came out. And I can't wait to rock it to Oogie Boogie Bash. Woo! Be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok for all the updates on that and how I style all of the things that I crochet. And don't forget to check out the rest of my channel as well. I have a ton of crochet videos ranging from beginner friendly to more advanced to more like guides like this video, but a lot of beginner friendly ones. So yeah, and I'll leave some of those in the description box below as well. And yeah, please give this video a thumbs up if you found it either interesting, entertaining, or helpful. And don't forget to click that red subscribe button if you have not already, so I can see you next time. Bye, and have a magical day.